big! Give me a moment. I'm gonna go bollock my cat. Come on, let's go. You've had your debut. Maybe you'll get in the next video. And we're back. Deep breaths. This is chill. I do this all the time. This is like such good coffee, by the way. This is from Lidl. It's literally, I think, 85p, and it's so good. And you can get big ones too. Just plug in Lidl at this point, aren't I? Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Feels so weird to say. I haven't been on here in a very long time, and this is a very different setup. And yes, I do have a microphone. I think over the span of the last 3 years, I've read around 150 books, and I've loved every minute of it. And I thought, I have this platform. Why not give it a go? Why not give booktube a go? This video is going to be what I have read this year so far and what I'm currently reading. We're just going to get straight into it. This is all that I am showing you today. So we're going to get started with my first book of the year, which was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I think we have all heard of this book. I've wanted to read this for a while. This has been on my TBR for some time now. It's essentially about a coffee shop that you can travel back in time to relive a moment or a couple hours that were significant to you. But there's quite extensive rules. So you have to stay in the same chair. You have to drink the coffee before it gets cold so you can return back to the present, and you can't change anything about the future. When I first read that, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, man. It's a collection of short stories, essentially. It's 4 short stories, each about 2 different people. It's a very good book. I've actually forgotten how many stars I've rated this. If you want to see, go check out my Goodreads. I'll put it somewhere on screen right now. Do go give me a follow because I'm constantly updating my Goodreads when I'm reading. It's either dead when I'm in a book slump or every hour when I'm very much into reading. I think I rated this either 3 or 4 stars. It was slightly disappointing to me that they didn't really lean into the magical side of it in terms of, you're going back in time. We've got to have some sort of fun thing here, but it's more so about life lessons. There's 4 other books, I think, and I shall not be reading them, which I feel bad for saying. I've read it. I can say I've read it. The first one, I mean, and I'm ready to move on. The second book I read this year was Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. Now this, I'm sorry, what was this? I do not know how to talk about this book in any way. I think I went in very naively, and maybe I shouldn't have. And if I can recommend anything, if you're going to pick up this book, is read the blurb, read the synopsis, read the trigger warnings, because she's a crazy one. Now, I knew this was dark romance, but I didn't know it was that dark. I think that's the perfect way to sum up how I feel about this book. I think I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads, so we're kind of coasting at the moment with our ratings, but it's essentially about a group of boys in high school who start this thing called Devil's Night, hence the name, the Devil's Night series, and it's the night before Halloween where they go out and pull pranks and do basically a bunch of illegal stuff that they shouldn't be doing, but they somehow get away with. And I don't think I understood that dynamic of how the police were never involved and how they never get caught. Or I think it does state that they spend a night in prison once or twice. They just run riot over the town and sleep with lots of women. They're the most beloved yet feared men in this town. And there's a woman who really looks up to and is completely infatuated with one of these men. I still don't understand why. Almost 500 pages later, I still don't understand why she was ever infatuated with him. I'm hoping it's going to be like the Twisted series, in the sense of, when I read the Twisted series, Twisted Love, the first one, Alex and Ava, I was never that captivated. I was never that interested with Alex. He was very questionable. The 4th book was my favourite. I said what I said. They essentially think she's done something and try and ruin her life. which they succeed with. I think the most prominent thought I had in my mind while I was reading this was, why is she still in love with this man, let alone infatuated, like would drop anything to be around him after all he's done to her? So I think the prominent feelings were just confusion, discomfort. I just don't understand it, but I've bought the whole series. I dropped 40 quid on the whole series, so I have to read them now. I felt a little too insulting to rate it 2 stars because it was an interesting story and it did have a reasonably good plot. It was just a bit F-U-C-K-E-D. So that is everything I've read so far this year. It ain't much, is it? Now to what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading 3 books, which is very unlike me. My rule is generally 2 books at a time, otherwise I just mix them up. Does anything else need to be said? I feel like I could just be like, next one. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't, I need to read a couple quotes from this. This is no spoilers, don't worry. I am not spoiling any books in this video in any way. I have thoroughly avoided BookTok and TikTok as much as I can to not get spoilers for this book. But I can't lie, last night I did search on Storm no spoilers, and all I've got is that people are confused, a little disappointed, and feel like they had everything happen, but nothing happened at the end of this book. So I'm very concerned, I'm very alarmed, I'm very scared. I don't want to read it because I don't want to read the end, to be quite honest. I've started tabs, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've only got 1 tab and 1 tab only for this book, and that is Xaden Ryerson, because nothing else really is needed. There's already been some badass moments from like 4 different characters. There's been so much going on. I honestly don't know how I'm reading other books at the moment, to be honest, because so much is going on. I feel like it needs my full attention. But I just love this universe so much. Let's read some quotes from this man. We're going to read possibly one of the best quotes in the book thus far. Again, no spoilers, don't worry. A kiss isn't enough. It never is with us. You want me the same way that I want you. Wholly, completely, with nothing but skin between us, heart, mind, and body. All I want is to lose myself in you, and I can't. You are the only person in the world with the power to strip me of every ounce of my control, and the only person I can't fathom losing that control with. And yet here I am, unable to keep 3 fucking feet away from you. You know what I mean? But moving on. The next book I'm currently reading is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This has been on my TBR for some time now. One of my goals this year is to read more of my TBR. I love Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is my Anna Huang. Like, she is just that right. She's just that author for me. Anything she releases and I don't think about it, I buy it because I love her, and why wouldn't I? This is, I think, chess. So they play chess, but they're also scientists. So it's like a really cool, like, we're really intelligent here. I'm just under 50 pages into this. I've just started it and I'm focusing more on Onkstorm at the moment. What I've read so far, I am enjoying. And finally, I bought this today, the copy of it. This is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which I believe is her newest novel. I've been listening to the audiobook on Spotify and loving it. It's the first time that I've actually listened to an audiobook that I haven't read the physical copy of. The audiobooks I've listened to in the past have always just been rereads of books that I've read physical copies of. It just felt too wrong to not own a copy, especially since it's Ali Hazelwood. Like, I have to own all her books. I love this cover, by the way. I think this is her branching out from like the fluffy romance. This is her branching out into the more kind of smutty sort of sector. I've already seen on Goodreads, some of the people I follow have had to DNF it at 20% because they have just not been able to continue. I'm very dubious. I'm definitely walking on eggshells a little bit while I'm listening to the audiobook, but I think I'm going to either read and listen to the audiobook at separate times and kind of do it alternate, like when I can, because why has no one told me about listening to an audiobook while you clean? It's genius. My brain is occupied and I'm doing something I should be. It's essentially about a diver and a swimmer, I think. They basically collaborate for something. They're in exchange of something. It's a very kinky book. Literally, it's all about kinks. I'm worried that it's going to take the front stage a little too much and that the romance isn't going to be there, but already he's said some things that I like, and I can't lie, I might even start tabbing it. I think if anything, I'm going to finish this before Check and Mate, because I'm really going to focus on this and Onk Storm. So that's everything I've read this year and I'm currently reading. I feel like I've got, right now for what I'm currently reading, I've got some really good books here that could, obviously Onk Storm's probably going to be 5 stars anyway. Even if it's gut-wrenching, it will be 5 stars. But Ali Hazelwood just never misses. At least one, most likely both, are going to be rated minimum of 4 stars. I literally have not touched this coffee this whole time. I hope the audio is okay. I'm not used to having a microphone on me. Do excuse if I'm awkward, and obviously I need to get into it more and get back into the swing of it again. But I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. I hate outros, so see you for the next one.